Hey, Bold and the beautiful fans. We've got Ivy Forrester going completely unhinged and manipulating her niece Electra's love life. Ivy is trying to force what she wants on Electra, and we all know it's going to blow up in her face. Electra is going to be furious with Ivy for ruining her relationship with Will. This is Melinda, and today we're diving into Ivy's inevitable walk of shame out of Los Angeles once Electra discovers what she's been up to. I'm pretty sure Daphne Rose is going to be the one to expose Ivy, but first, please hit that subscribe button if you're not already following us. Let's get into it. So, we know Ivy is going to be off the show for a while, maybe even long term, because actress Ashley Brewer is pregnant. Judging by the baby bump photos she posted, she looks to be in her third trimester. That means Ivy is exiting very soon for Ashley's maternity leave. The show is clearly setting the stage for her absence, and I suspect it all starts when Electra finds out Ivy has been meddling in her life, lying to her face, and manipulating the situation to break up her and Will. I also think Ivy will soon start pushing Electra towards RJ, even though Electra has made it crystal clear that Will is the one she loves and wants. We know Electra will find out the truth, and I suspect a massive fight between her and Ivy will be the catalyst that writes Ivy off the show for her maternity leave. I can just see Ivy doing a walk of shame right out of Forrester Creations and out of LA after Electra cuts ties with her interfering, deceiving, diabolical aunt. This week, Daphne saw Ivy steal the letter Electra wrote to Will and hide it in her purse. At that moment, I think Daphne knew Ivy was up to something shady, but she didn't realize the full extent of it until later. She got the vibe that Ivy was being sneaky, but she didn't have the context. Once she did, she realized just how treacherous Ivy was being. Ivy took the letter and replaced it with Will's broken necklace. By the way, I thought it was a bit strange that Electra told RJ the necklace material was unbreakable, and yet it broke. I don't know if that's some sort of allegory for their relationship or just a continuity error in the script. Anyway, Will didn't mean for the necklace to break. He was bringing it to Electra to fix. He took it to her workstation, and of course, Ivy took advantage. She left it on Electra's desk to make it look like Will had ripped it off his neck and left it there because he was done with her. With the letter gone, Electra assumed the absolute worst, just like Ivy wanted. She thought Will was going to show up to meet her, but he never got the letter, so he left her sitting there alone. Now, Electra thinks Will read her heartfelt letter and still chose Dylan over her. She was completely distraught, and that's the only reason she let RJ hug her for comfort. Of course, he seized the moment and kissed her, and wouldn't you know it? Will walked in at that exact second. What he did not see was Electra immediately stopping the kiss and telling RJ he could never do that again. The next day, she even reiterated to RJ, "You can't kiss or touch me like that." But all Will saw was the kiss, and he was crushed. We know Daphne saw Ivy take the letter, and then she had that chat with Electra in the showroom. The poor girl is heartbroken, thinking Will dumped her. When Electra explained the situation with the letter and the necklace, Daphne had a flashback to seeing Ivy with that letter, and it all clicked. She realized something was very wrong. I think that's the moment Daphne started to put the pieces together and figured out Ivy was manipulating both Electra and Will. So, Daphne is going to confront Ivy by the end of this week, and that's when Ivy threatens her, telling her not to dare tell anyone. Well, I don't think Ivy's warning is going to work for a second. In fact, I think that's exactly what Daphne will do. Since she's married to Carter now, I expect Daphne to tell her husband about Ivy's schemes and threats. And since Steffi is Daphne's best friend and co-CEO, she might just tell Steffi too. Honestly, I don't think Ivy's threat will stop Daphne at all. She's not going to sit on this information. She might tell Carter and Steffi that Ivy stole something from a co-worker, and not just any co-worker, but her own niece, all to set up Will and cause problems. And while this is a personal matter, Forrester Creations has no problem firing people for personal drama. Ivy is doing all this plotting and lying on company time and company property. So, I think Steffi and Carter need to know what's going on. But whether she tells them or not, I think Daphne will definitely circle back to Electra and tell her the truth. It really should be Daphne who tells Electra. Unless, of course, Electra overhears Daphne confronting Ivy. You know how much this show loves its eavesdropping scenes. Even if Daphne tells Carter and Steffi, the most important person she needs to tell is Electra because she's the only witness. Let's face it, Daphne shouldn't waste her time telling Will. Even if she did, and he told Electra, Electra would probably believe Ivy over him. She even said this week that she trusts Ivy completely, more than the man she claims to love. That's not a good sign, because that trust is completely misplaced. The bottom line is, this is all going to come back to bite Ivy big time. Electra is going to feel so betrayed, violated, and angry when she finds out what Ivy did. I'm betting she will go off on her Aunt Ivy, because Ivy is the one who hurt her, not Will. Once the truth is out, Electra will realize Ivy probably exaggerated what she saw at Will's house just to drive them apart. She'll realize she should have listened to Will. What Ivy saw might have bothered her, but she blew it way out of proportion. Let's be real, Dylan wasn't flaunting herself in her bikini. Her bikini was actually quite modest, offering a lot of coverage. Electra herself has worn much smaller bikinis. It wasn't some seductive dance, it was just a bit of fun. I think Electra is going to feel like a complete fool for ever believing her aunt. Then, I bet she runs straight to Will, tells him Ivy was messing with them, and admits he was right all along. I just hope she doesn't find Will kissing Dylan or in bed with her, because he's so heartbroken over seeing her with RJ. In that case, the damage might already be done. Hopefully, that hasn't happened and Will and Electra can reconcile. I'm also sure that word of what Ivy did will spread like wildfire. She's going to face heat from a lot of people at Forrester. Steffi might tell her she can't work at the main office anymore. She could give Ivy a choice: get fired, or go work at Forrester International in Paris, or work remotely, but you can't be here. Electra might even disown her, telling Ivy she wants her out of her life for good. Electra is 21, not 15. She doesn't need a helicopter auntie trying to run her life. When Ashley Brewer goes on maternity leave, that might realistically be the last we see of Ivy for a long time. She wasn't on contract and was mainly brought back to introduce Electra, who is now fully embedded in the show. We'll see what happens, but will you be sorry to see Ivy go? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next video.